it's an absolute pleasure to welcome him to the show. It's 10 o'clock at night over there, and we've kept him up again because I think the last 24 hours or 36 hours, there may have been some celebrating to do. Mel Meninga, good morning to you, mate.
Morning, Paddy, and I need some sleep, mate. I must confess. It's been a torrid 48 hours, eh? So.
Well, I tell you what, you deserve it, mate. You came in, I think, ranked number 4 in the world. I know that miffed you and plenty of your support staff, but that was the way the cookie crumbled through COVID, and you've just proved who's number 1 in the world now.
Oh, very pleased. Yeah, obviously, we never thought we're number 4 in the world. Obviously, so we've been so dominant over a long period of time. So, I guess the weight of expectations that we win tournaments, and the players handle that expectation really well, mate. And we played our best footy when it really mattered.
Yeah. Did you have any doubts, Mel, that good finals performance would happen?
Oh, not really, Hills. We sort of, we had a plan right from the beginning. We talked about everything, right to, how we wanted to play, what sort of focus we're going to put on each week. We knew all the players are going to play, so combinations might be affected by all that. But, when we looked at it, I was thinking about it last night, and most of our spine, played 5 of the 6 games together, So, I guess all the opinions of the analysts, got that wrong. We just played an international, so it just took into where we need to get to, but the final was, so they it was great, and they played really great.
Oh, yeah. You spoke so glowingly of them all, mate. That the tour, has it been as smooth as it seems to us?
Yeah, no, it has been. Yeah, it's just from day one, you could see there's James Tedesco talked about connection, how we one family. We talk about just regardless of what happens, we all stick together, on the footy field and off it. And I thought, in my experience, honestly, mate, it was one of the happiest groups I've ever been associated with. That's in my playing days and obviously in my coaching days. So they all bonded really well, and everyone's for each other, and that team environment, was created by the players and all the staff, and the families end up coming over the last few weeks as well. So, it was like one big family reunion there at one stage, and I was really pleased with the outcome, obviously.
It fascinates me how you managed to do it, because we see that, the whole Origin series is based on that state v state, mate v mate, and the hatred that the fans try and engender into it. And you're the one that has to try and bring them all, as you keep saying, one big happy family.
Yeah, Paddy, it's funny because we don't talk about, the passion for our country. Sport in Australia is, it's sort of, from a social point of view, it's very, socially impactful. People in Australia follow sport immensely, whether it be cricket or rugby league or AFL or whatever the case may be, So there's this expectation, when we go onto a field that we're going to be successful for such a small population. So I just think that, when we get back down the nuts and bolts of it all, people want to play for their country. That's what they want to do. Even though, they put on that pedestal the premiership in our game and in the state of origin, but when we come together as a national side, the passion and the pride is still there, which very, very encouraging. And I've made commentary over here the last few days as well around. I just hope that the game realises how important the international game is for rugby league, and then hopefully they'll find a schedule for us, and we can move forward with the growth of making our sport a global sport.
More often.
Yeah, we're only 48 hours past. So, you're not expected to think about it. But have you got any just rough sketches of how you'd like to see this international game grow? Because from a fan point of view, you throw in the 3 powerhouses. Then you throw in Tonga and Samoa. You'd love to see France be able to, become the team that they once were decades ago. Do you have a sketching in your head about which way you'd like to see international footy go?
Well, we need a schedule. We haven't had a schedule for a long period of time, so we just don't know where, from year to year, what's happening, in our game. So We knew that obviously with the pandemic that put a bit of a hold on everything, but I just feel now that we can't let this chance go by. We've got to have a schedule. We've got to have a 4-year schedule, say from World Cup to World Cup. It's just like the good old days when we had kangaroo tours. It's from kangaroo tour to kangaroo tour. Then you had all these scheduling in between. So once you got your schedule, then obviously you can start to build your assets around all that. And when you get sponsors can jump on board. Your supporter tours can jump on board. Players can start planning, what they want to do as far as their who they want to play for and things like that. I think that's the important part. And then I just think, well, I know that we need parity in the payments. So I just think across all the boards, all the Pacific nations, they're starting to rise in International Rugby League, and we need to look after France, and we need to look after Great Britain or England. So there's got to be some parity in the payments. So everyone just makes a decision based on what their passion is, who they want to play for, and then you get rewarded for success. As you go through it all. I just feel that the simplest solutions are the best solutions sometimes. And just like I said, just need a scheduling and great parity and get reward for success.
Yeah. How tired did the premiership type players, the Penrith boys and the Parramatta boys, how were they at the end of it all?
It was, you could see a bit of fatigue come into them, particularly after was such a gruelling game against the Kiwis at Ellen Road. So you just see they started to, this fatigue deteriorate in their performance and things like that. It was been a long, long year with the NRL and obviously Origin being part of it all. And we rested. We did a really good job, I felt, in our preparation, through the whole tournament. I didn't overtrain them. I tried to freshen them up physically and mentally. I think that's really important at the back of such an arduous year. So, and our last week of preparation, we only really trained once, double day. I think it was on the Wednesday, so we tried to rest them as much as they possibly could. And, mentally they were up for it, You don't need any motivations when you played a World Cup, final at Old Trafford, So it was a special moment and the players looked forward to it.
And, of course, mate, the Gillaroos as well, they were outstanding.
Oh, exceptional. Again, they left their best game to last as well against the Kiwis side who, pushed them in the qualifying rounds, So, they were awesome. They never looked like getting beat, did they, on grand final day. And it's just a great advertisement for women's rugby league, women's sport in general in Australia again, how... they play cricket, they play soccer, they play AFL, they play rugby union, they play rugby league, and that's getting better and better and better. They've become more athletes, more skilled, and fairly entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Did you have good contact with those tour groups? When there is a happy tour, I bet they'd be much more willing to hang out with the tour groups at times.
Yeah, it's been good. It was only a few come over heels with touring groups, and we mix with the girls all the time. That's not a hassle, but there's a few touring groups. Alfie was leading one of them, so
you got rid of that one.
A nice quiet affair.
No, we get to see Alfie. We just had to try to avoid him as much as we possibly can, but that's about all.
Yeah. What about best tourists from the players or staff group?
We've got a few staff that don't mind a bit of touring, so which is really good. We let our hair down, often. I must confess, So you got to celebrate your victories, and which we did really well. The players, but the players are, like I said, they've been really, really good, and they've got rave reviews and everywhere we've been, which is great. Their behaviour's was fantastic, and they managed to look after each other really well. And then obviously, like I said, the families come over too, and they enjoyed the experience as well. So it was just, I keep saying it, but it was just the happiest group we've ever been involved with.
Well, I've got to say, mate, I don't want to embarrass you, but I mean, you engender that. You engender that climate, that culture within this team. And it's been a long time between drinks for international footy to be on this sort of stage. And I reckon, you've got a lot to be proud of as you sit back in your hotel room tonight and eventually head back home.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Paddy. Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was, you sit back, you reflect on things, and, and I was talking to one of my staff members today about, well, how could we done things a bit better? And we found it pretty hard to come up with any answers to that. I just felt that the whole trip went really well. Everyone played their part. All the players bought into what we were doing. Then the families come over. Now we did a whole heap of stuff around the families, even prior to families coming over. The Zoom and Teams these days, you can do things like that. So, we had 13 debutantes. So we managed to do that really, really well. And like I said before, the players loved that, bought into it, and played very well, mate.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Congratulations on behalf of all league fans over here. You've got what you want. You went there for, and you thoroughly deserve it.
Thanks, Mel.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Meninga there, the Australian coach.